So I'm calling the meeting to order at 1947. Present are myself, Maria, and David Yu. First order of business. Let me share my screen and desktop, I think is what I want. And now I can navigate here. And here is the agenda. Everybody see the agenda? Hey, technology is wonderful. So the November, December meeting minutes acceptance, because of my dilatory actions in not posting the recording from December, we don't have the minutes for that, but we do have the minutes for November in the appropriate place on the G drive. So here they are. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review them. Does anybody have any issues with the minutes from the November meeting? Hearing
Nope.
none, let's count those as approved. And moving on to the chair report. So there's very little to report on the North Carolina General Assembly front. No action occurred of note since our last meeting. We still have a set of bills that have not been passed or fully passed. Maybe they've been passed by one house, maybe they've been passed by both houses and vetoed, not overridden, whatever. But there's no change in the status of any of these things since last time. The 2026 candidate lineup is now reasonably set. There is, of course, one more filing period in June, July for local candidates. And in Wake County's case, that means for soil and water and for Board of Education. I don't believe there are any other municipal or county offices open this everybody else either gets elected in odd numbered years or have already filed in the case of the Raleigh municipal candidates.
And
So
for practical purposes, for us, that means Brian Lewis for soil and water, correct?
bingo, yes. And as far as I know, that's on track.
Okay.
So here is the lineup for the North Carolina General Assembly. We ended up with seven candidates, which is not as many as we've had in recent years. It ties we woke up again from zombie state low, which was in 2016. However, we've done pretty well with these seven in the sense that three of the four House candidates have 1v1s against Democrats. There's no Republican running in House 11. There's no Republican running in House 34, and there's no Republican running in House 40. We almost got a clean sweep, but at the last minute, somebody came in for 39. Didn't do so well on the Senate side. Each of those is a three-way. We only covered three of the seats. In point of fact, the Republicans had all six seats covered this time, unlike last year, unlike our 2024. So there wasn't really an opportunity there to do a 1v1. Um, so we're in the process now of scheduling photo shoots for the headshots. I'm chasing after these various candidates to get their website worksheets done. And of course, they do need to fill out the statement of economic interest. That's the most immediate thing as a deadline of January 19th for them. And of course, I've got to file the end of 2025 reports for their campaign committees, which is
And
pretty simple.
so I've forgotten. So roughly for the out of these seven, how many are probably paper candidates or low budget? Or
Gordon and Cockrell is sort of somewhere between paper and
okay.
choice. And Bowersox is probably a low choice candidate. I don't think he'll
Okay.
do much, but he may print some signs up. The only one that's
Yeah.
really totally sub rosa is Corden. He's so under the water now, under the radar now that he wants to kill off his website. He's in the process of applying for jobs. He's been looking for work for like a year, and he's nervous about being identified as a political candidate in that it might complicate his job
Okay.
search. So it was tough to get him to
So
believe about it.
I don't see many here in this list. It would require a lot of help anyway. So is your candidate accelerator program basically funded? I realize one or two of these candidates may decide to do even more, but that's
I'm
kind
thinking
of
I'm
unknown.
thinking Brian Lewis will probably be the beneficiary of a lot of the candidate accelerator program money. He actually has
Okay.
a chance to be competitive. And
Okay.
I
But you have
also,
enough to donate to you have enough like 200 to 300 for each one of these now, right? As
oh
we
yeah, yeah, we've already covered
okay.
filing
That's
fees for Corden and Jones, and as it turned out, I think both Cockrell and Miller because they forgot checkbooks or some issue came up, so we wrote checks for them too. They may pay us back or they may not. It's not a big deal either way.
okay. Sounds
Any other
good.
questions?
No.
Okay, on to the December events. Of course, was the candidate filing. That required me to visit the Board of Elections. I think it was 5 times total over the course of the 3 weeks, including two guys that I had to drive, pick up from their homes and drive to the office and back to their homes to get all the cats herded, but it got done. So that was that. And now the IRV needs assessment project. We've re-Christianed this. It used to be called the the RCV, Ranked Choice Voting Needs Assessment, but we're calling it IRV because we're thinking that that nomenclature is less of a red flag or cape waved in the face of the bull, or in this case, the elephant. Um, and that's moving along very well. Let's see if I have that here. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet that tracks contacts of elected officials in Wake County. And the green ones are ones that have agreed to sign on the needs assessment, which is done, by the way. I should probably give you guys a link to that so you can take a look at it. It's pretty good. It wasn't done by me. I mean, I had input, but it was done mostly by Lenny Friedman, who's the vice chair of the Forward Party, with whom we're closely collaborating on this project. So the objective now is that we have the document. It's basically a document that goes to the to the North Carolina State Board of Elections. We're bypassing the General Assembly and asks them to do a needs assessment of what it would take to implement ranked choice voting in Wake County as an option for municipalities and for the county. So no municipality would be forced to use it, but it would be available to them. That's the theory to use if they want to. So we'd obviously have to do some education with them, but we're doing that now in the sense that we're talking to selected committee or city council people in each locality. Uh, I should make David a co-chair, a co-host, so I don't have to mess with this. But let's go back to. I think I have to unshare to get back to my Zoom, and that's David Blackwell. Okay. Greetings, David.
Hey,
You
sorry
are
about that.
No worries. You are joining us in progress. We're just talking about the ranked choice voting, excuse me, the instant runoff voting project now. And I make co-host. I'm trying to make you the co-host, David Ulmer, so that if anybody else comes in, like Macau, you can deal with it. Let's
Okay.
go back to sharing desktop share. Okay. Ah, there we go. So I was just explaining, David B., that we're in the process now of recruiting elected officials at the county and municipal level to sign on to the needs assessment request that we plan to send to when I say we, I mean basically WakeLP and the Forward Party, which are organizing this effort. We plan to send to the North Carolina State Board of Elections, asking them to look at the feasibility of implementing an option for ranked choice voting for Wake County. So they're going to look at what it would cost to do that and what they would save to do that because we wouldn't have to do runoffs anymore. And any other issues that would come up. I mean, what software has to be upgraded? Do we need to add more machines to the early voting sites and the precinct sites because it takes a little longer to vote this way? That kind of thing. And so we've already recruited several elected officials who've agreed to sign. Mike Sheetselt and Aaron Bray. Most importantly, those are Republican North Carolina House people. The Republicans, of course, are the harder ones to recruit. We also have a couple from Wake who've agreed, Jonathan Lambert Melton and Megan Patton. I haven't really called in earnest. We just got the document finalized about a week and a half ago, and I just was no point in calling between Christmas and New Year's. But now, this starting this week, I'll be making calls to and Lenny Friedman is also going to be making some calls, and maybe even the chair of the Forward Party might help us out, Patrick Newton. Oh, and Patrick Bowersox is also helping out. He's calling the Holly Springs people. So anyway, we hope to have that squared away uh, well before the primary. Any questions?
Nope, sounds good to me.
I'm
Okay,
good.
let's move on. The treasurer report. The treasurer report was, oh, that's another app, right? Yeah. Treasurer report was, not, unofficially posted in the EC channel in Mattermost. And so for those of you who haven't seen it, here it is. We have $4,300 in our combined accounts at the moment. It's higher. I know it's higher. Sean didn't put this in there, but I know it's higher because we've received some additional contributions to the 2026 candidate accelerator fund. So that's going reasonably well. We're about a third of the way through the newsletter, which is a little late. Hopefully, we'll out tonight. Will include a plea for more contributions there. Our objective is to get to 6,000. So that's the treasury report. Any questions on the treasury report?
No, I would just say you don't need to rush on the newsletter. Most people are coming back to work and waking up
Yeah,
tomorrow or Tuesday.
that's what I
So
figured.
anything before then would have been just, probably ignored anyway. So
Right. Yeah. Um, okay, back to the agenda. Future events. So there is a Stop Torture Now, NC Stop Torture Now sponsored event on Monday, a week from tomorrow. It's in downtown Raleigh, and in the past we have supported them. And I'm hoping if I have the time to be able to attend this, it's during the day, during the workday. I'm not positive I'm going to be able to make it, but I'll be there in spirit at least. So if anybody is into that issue, I have made all of our current NCGA candidates and federal candidates aware of the thing. So it's possible some other candidates may show up. I think one of these actually got some press coverage. Most of them don't. So it's not a high, you know, uh, high rated target, but it's a good thing to support. Um, the big event on our calendar, of course, is a week from Wednesday. We have our convention. And I will make sure that you guys all have the link for registering for the convention, which you should do before then, so that we can have badges available for you when you arrive. I haven't checked it in the last few days, but I don't think too many of you have registered yet.
is
Um,
yeah. Is Ken coming to that? Is Ken doing his normal duties
Ken
for
has
that
a
or not?
voicemail from me asking that question. I don't know. However, I'm pretty confident that if he doesn't, we've got Lucas Jones, who's definitely coming and can handle the technical side of running the
All right.
cameras and so on and so forth. We just have to get them from Ken,
S-
which is, I will
Sec,
one
yeah,
or the
okay.
other solution will be done. It's also possible we may be in the fishbowl because it worked. Surprisingly, it worked for 40 or almost 50 people. Um, it's totally up to I left it up to Tobacco Road to decide. I mean, they
All
may
right.
want us downstairs even if we don't have that many people because it's easier to serve downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, it has. three advantages. Number one, we don't have to cart shit up and downstairs, just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
wait
yeah.
staff doesn't enjoy
All
carting
things
stuff
being
up and
equal, that
downstairs.
would be a better solution, and it's probably better for them if
It
they don't have anybody else down there.
Yeah. Well, and it also lets people see that we're actually having events, random people who come in. There's some,
Good point.
awareness there as opposed to being hidden in the back. So
Yeah.
if
Well,
there's nothing else going on, hopefully we can get that space. I was going to go with that is if they do, if you can find, it'd be nice to know 3 or 4 days out because we've had some
oh yeah,
differences
it's
about
going to be
where we
settled this
should.
week. Well, we should know by Wednesday.
All right, so I'll finish this sentence eventually. The point I was trying to get to on the goddamn downstairs, it'd be nice to get the layouts laid out because they always screw us around in different configurations downstairs. So my point
Okay.
with all of this, Brad, I was trying to get to is if you have a preference for how that downstairs layout should be, please vocalize that when you talk to them next week about where we're at.
Right. I'm thinking the horseshoe that they usually do is best. You know, where they do a
That's fine.
back.
If that's with the speakers along that short wall and the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that configuration as well. So they
Cool.
sometimes don't do that for us, so it would be
Right.
nice if they would if we're downstairs.
Okay. Good. Thank
Hopefully
you for
they'll
the
give us.
reminder. I will.
All
I
right,
will
thank
include
you.
that in my conversation with the TR folks. Anything else on the convention? Cool. Um, Hurricanes game. I know David and Yvonne are coming. Anybody else planning to come to the Hurricanes game? If so, please sign up for that. And we'll provide the link to you all as well. We'll be doing some additional promotion for that. We do have two tickets earmarked for a random selection among the folks that have contributed to the CAP F fund, or the CAP, I get it, that's redundant, the Candidate Accelerator Program Fund. And that drawing will be, I guess, early on the 17th of January, because you can make a contribution until midnight on the 16th and be eligible. A contribution of $50 or more, that is, to that fund. Um, but should be fun. So if any of you guys, would like to see a Hurricanes game with a bunch of libertarians and cheer when the WakeLP comes up on the scoreboard out between the second and third periods, as it's supposed to, please sign up and hope to see you there. Um, Possible Mike Munger presentation. So Mike Munger tells me that he's now retired. I pinged him and I said I wanted to ask him his advice on some political stuff, and he said he was retired from politics. Of course, the fact that he's retired doesn't mean that he can't still give good advice. So I will follow up with him. I'm interested in potentially talking to him about a presentation where he could give everybody some advice on how to deal with life in America in 2026 in the political slash economic sense, given all the unsettled things that are up in the air. If there's some approach that we might be able to take that would be helpful, or either as individuals or as group. Anyway, I need to talk to him about that, and text exchange isn't going to cut it. So I have not had
Quick
that yet.
question. I didn't catch it between the levity. Is he actually retired from Duke University now?
That I don't know. That's another question I want to ask him.
Okay, because that's the real retired, right? So
That's true.
the other one's not like he was making money or actually in political
Right.
office.
Well, he did discourage me from calling him before while I was recruiting by re-registering as a Republican. So
Oh, that's fine. But we think he still teaches. Well, he hasn't quit Duke as near as you can
I don't
tell.
know. I'll find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then there's another possible idea that we've been kicking around. In this case, myself and David, and so I'm going to let David, you talk about this one. This is with potentially with Ed George.
Well, I think someone else on the call probably has a lot more influence there. But I mean, he's been doing the newsletter and he spent a lot of time in investing and other stuff. And I think sometimes we forget that we may have somebody kind of smart among us who could do it. He's presented to us before, at least, I don't know when he was talking about running for office last time, he presented very well. And I think with everything that he's done, I know he's been following Berkshire Hathaway, and I just think it would be interesting if he would talk about the market, what he's learned, putting his newsletter together, where he thinks we'll be in the next year, year and a half. Um, the opportunity, I think, to bring people in who are just interested in investing and in money and economics without having it, delivered with that hardcore. one way or the other, as opposed, there's nothing wrong with doing presentations on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and gold. But there's money to be made in other places, and I just think he would do a good job. And we want to have some sort of presentation, I think, in April or May. And I just think he would do, there's a lot of latitude there for him. So if he would be interested in doing something, we have multiple Wednesdays that would be after the state convention. And I just think it would be a nice way to do something for 20 or 30 people that could pull in a variety of, get that 10, 11, 12 people sometimes that are outside the LP who would just be interested by the topic if we present it right.
Cool.
He's done
Sounds
some
great.
interesting shit with his newsletter and following these companies. So
Cool. All right. Unless there's any other questions about future events, any other suggestions for future events, we will move on to new business. Um, so I recently became aware of the existence of something called the Problem Solvers Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives. This is a bipartisan caucus that's existed for about 10 years, so poo on me for not knowing about it before. And apparently has had some success at promoting some legislation. Not so much in the last year. This was not a good year for problem solvers, for people that are serious about actually addressing problems. But the concept is really good. I mean, that is to say, it's really good unless you're somebody that wants the whole system to fall apart and therefore want it to, to gum up the works to make it fall apart faster. But that's not me. So I'm actually thinking about making this one of my issues in my Senate 18 campaign, where I would advocate doing something like this in the North Carolina Senate. And hopefully, if I can pull this off, actually engage my opponents, and I will have a Democratic and a Republican opponent, although I don't know who the Republican is yet because there's a primary. Well, I'm pretty sure who's going to win, but anyway, see if I can get them to commit to doing that if they win, which would be kind of a cool thing. So I've talked it over with Matt Lazax, who's now who jilted us. He was going to run for 41, but he jilted us and decided to run for U.S. House 4. U.S. House 2 instead. And it occurs to me that, this would be a good issue for potentially a good issue for somebody running for federal office as well. So anyway, he and I are going to collaborate on pulling together a Pinkowski format issue page on this. And I just wanted to raise the flag. Yeah, any input or suggestions or you know, criticisms, comments. It's a bad idea. I mean, I'm open to any feedback. And I'll make sure you guys get access to the draft that we put together so you can look at that as well. But I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts off the top of their heads on that idea? Okay.
my initial reaction is it's a little wishy-washy, but it is what it is. I think so long as we at least have two issues where we're really educating people, hey, like if we really got rid of certificate of need, these are all of the things that would become more
Yes.
affordable. I
I,
mean,
I my
especially
main three issues will
healthcare
be
doesn't look like it's going to be fixed on the federal level. So fixed
right.
meaning there's a lot of people going to see their premiums go up significantly, and so I think anything around that would be helpful. The state has just done an awful job. I mean, I appreciate the fact that we still have a budget that continues, but the fact that they couldn't put a new budget together and we have one party that runs both houses is just mind blowing to me. But anyway, as a third thing, if you wanted to put it there, I guess, but it'd be nice to have at least two issues that the seven candidates kind of agree on, or,
Well, for me, it would be a
ones worth
fourth
talking
issue.
about and educating.
My first
All
three
right, well.
issues, of course, are healthcare, education, and the economy. Those are that's the trinity. But I'm looking for one or two beyond that, and that would be one, and then another one would probably be electoral reform. Um, so certificate of need, of course, falls into the healthcare. That would probably be my lead item to discuss under the healthcare issue. Um, so yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, and I'm going to encourage all the candidates, as always, to lead with the Trinity because that's what folks care about. And you're
Yeah,
certainly
even I
right.
would even sharpen the Trinity. I don't know when you're planning to discuss this with all of them or if you plan to do like a group discussion. But I would even, health, I understand the three that we've always talked about. And I don't disagree with those, but I would even sharpen like, hey, on healthcare, this is it. This is the thing that we want,
Yeah,
on the economy.
that
This
makes
is the
sense.
thing that we want and try to, with the little bandwidth that we get, and it is small, at least try to get it so when people go to our website, it's like, oh, I didn't know that this is how this worked in the state of North Carolina, and have it be something that, you know, even if our candidate doesn't get elected, which they probably won't, at least the person at viewing the website walks away a little brighter and smarter on how a couple of important things actually do work that they could actually demand action on from elected representatives.
Right. Yes, our website currently, when you say our website, I'm talking about the WakeLP website, currently does have an issues page and it has those three issues. Of course, it doesn't talk, it's the old, general stuff. It doesn't
Yeah,
have.
no,
So
I'm
that can be
thinking of the
updated.
candidate specifically. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Okay. Nation Builder PayPal recurring donations. You may recall we talked about this a few months back. Nation Builder are sunsetting support for PayPal, and they will only support Stripe going forwards. We have, I think it's seven grandfathered recurring donations that are under PayPal. And what's going to happen with those is that they will still work in the sense of the money getting into the bank, but it won't automatically be recorded in our Nation Builder database. We'll have to do that manually for those 70 every month. If um, we did undertake a project to try to upgrade those or convert those, I guess would be, or migrate, I guess is the right word I'm looking for. There was a program that Nation Builder has that purportedly migrates the old PayPal things to the new Stripe thing, but all seven of them, there was some technical issue that they all shared that they couldn't do it. So it's probably not going to help the LPNC either. And they have like 40 of these things. We're going to be stuck with either we can go to these people and bother them about changing their donation, which I don't recommend. I think it's really unfriendly, and of course, it always risks that they might decide, oh, I'm still donating there. I didn't mean to be. So probably better to let sleeping dogs lie and just bite on, swallow the seven entries that we have to make every month until those people on their own organically upgrade, change, stop their donations. Um, so the new news there is that Nation Builder tried to convert them and failed. Just to cut to the chase there. Anything else on new business that no one had suggested anything before the meeting? Anybody have anything that they want to bring up now? Okay, we have
Are you,
go ahead.
question, are you at some point as you're getting these candidates organized planning? I know probably something not as involved as like the Saturday morning for 3 hours. Are you planning like, or do we want to consider like a 1 hour Zoom where we just kind of go like, hey, here's your websites, even if they're not done. Here's how your issues are going to be laid out. Here's a general strategy we'd like you to consider. I know it's hurting cats, but here's a general outline of how we'd like you to engage. Like, even if you're a paper candidate, please answer your surveys, or if not, consider forwarding to someone who might answer for you. Or, here's on Mattermost, here's a channel where you can ask your questions, like, what should my answer be? Or does anyone have suggestions? Like, are we going to do anything to try to get them to kind of cohesively operate, if at all possible?
I've been thinking about that, and I don't think a long session makes a lot of sense with just, five or six people, however many are really active. What I am thinking about is potentially trying to organize, not, formally organize, but kind of informally organize the entire group of North Carolina General Assembly candidates, of which there's, I think it's 13 of them or 14 of them all together across the state. And the mechanism I'm thinking about, and I have to talk about this with Ryan because I haven't completely figured out how to pitch it, but I'm thinking about like a weekly 15-minute or 20-minute Zoom call. So just, who's doing what events are out there, all the things you talked about, plus, some other organizational stuff. Making sure that they all have some place to go to see how surveys are being answered, what are the most important surveys, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
thinking
if
it
there's
would be
not that many statewide, you might want to consider just opening it up with like a 1 hour Zoom, even if you only get 10 of the 14 to attend or whatever else, just
that
to,
makes sense.
because some of your candidates are new or first time or whatever. And,
Right.
we'll find out right away if we've got one or two that are just going to go do their own thing.
Yeah.
So,
But
all right.
yes, so the answer to your question in theory is yes. In practice, I haven't figured out what I want to do
Yeah,
exactly.
I think a Zoom be easy. I mean, Zooms, you just pick a day or whatever. And, you could even do it after the state convention when you'll see a bunch of them.
Good
By
point.
that time you should have some websites up and other stuff. So not a
Plus,
great rush, but it'd be nice to have it set up by April.
plus everyone will know their candidates or their opposition by then because the primary will be over. All
There you
right.
go. All right.
Um, so on to old business. So the 2026 CAP we've talked about this. There is one additional facet to this, which is paper, um, our paper email, snail mail campaign. And David B. and I are working to identify a Saturday where we can get together. There's still about, I don't know how many, 1,500 of these left, David, to send out. David, you're muted.
I sent out all the ones that I have. I would have to create or print off a bunch more. But I basically was able to meet that deadline before I went to Mexico and sent out and mailed out like all that I had on hand. So I can always make more, but I was able to get
Well,
out as a bunch.
how many was that total?
I'd have to look, but it was probably, I would say, like at least 1,500 or
Okay.
so, if
You
not
and I can
more.
take this offline because we got to figure out the logistics if we're going to do anything. So we won't bore everybody else with that.
Yeah.
I will say that I went to the post office on the 31st, and unfortunately, there were no additional checks from the program. Although there was a $583 check from the LPNC to repay us for the money we laid out for them for the state fair, which was nice. I got that into the bank before the end of the year, which was also nice. There were some returns, and the returns were weird. They didn't have any name on them. It said something like, current resident, and then the address. So all the returns, there were like a dozen of them, were in that form. So that was kind of strange. But anyway, this is boring to everybody else, so we'll take this offline.
Well, if you remind me, did we get any donations from that
Well, I
at
believe
all?
we got one so far, which was made online. I'm not absolutely positive that it came through it was definitely a CapF donation, a 2026 CapF donation, but it came through the website, so I'm not absolutely positive it was from the mailing or not. One of the things I need to check when you get back to me as to which of I sent you that whole Excel list. When you send me the list of which ones you mailed, then I'll be able to tell whether this guy was on that list or not. So
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we'll get that squared
you're still in
away.
Mexico, right?
I just got back,
Oh, well,
so
welcome back.
yeah. So we'll go over that. I guess just here in the next couple of days, and we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. All right, cool beans. Then business meeting recordings posting on YouTube. Maria, any news on that front?
So I need to go into December and do the minutes, and so I'll just go ahead and work my way back from this meeting.
Okay, so uh, technically speaking, as far as we know, there's no technical impediment at this point to posting YouTube recordings.
No, it's all me.
Right. Okay, that's cool. All right. Anybody have anything else? We started 2 minutes
Go
late
Steelers.
and we are now 6 minutes over. So we went 3 minutes over or 4 minutes over. Assuming that I can elicit a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I'm out.
Yeah,
All,
second.
Thanks, everyone.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Bye.
Excellent. Okay. Let me stop sharing and um, stop recording.